Grégoire VIGROUX, welcome to Sustainable Living Podcast. You are, first of all, an entrepreneur, and I would like to start with your vision as an entrepreneur and why did you start involving yourself and you start some projects in this sustainable and responsibility domain?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the kind invitation. And to answer your question, I think that my reply is going to be very simple. My objective in life is not only to build the businesses that are going to make revenue, that are going to be profitable. Life is not about money, right? Life is about the impact that you are making towards people, toward the environment. And you know, I have 3 kids, 8 years old, 6 years old, and 5 years old, and they start asking me, look, daddy, what do you do at work? I'm not going to tell them about, again, the revenue, the EBITDA, the profit. It has no meaning. Is this the legacy I want to give to my kids in terms of education? No, of course not. However, when I tell my kids, you know what, daddy just launched this food waste application because food waste is a catastrophe for the environment. Daddy launched this refurbished smartphone company because manufacturing new phones is a catastrophe for the environment, etc., etc. All the businesses that I launch need to have an impact, either social impact or environmental impact, ideally both.
Thank you for this introduction, but you mentioned already 2 projects. We will discuss more about Bonapp, but I would also like to know more about the refurbishment project you have on mobiles.
Yes, you want me to talk about the mobile phones?
Yes, yeah. Tell us more about this project too.
Yeah, so I'm a very simple guy when it comes to businesses, so I observe very simple things. You know, sometimes in business, I mean, most of the time you don't need to do complicated things. You just need to witness the world and see where you see problems and to come back to with solutions. Because after all, in society, the role of entrepreneurs, or at least my role as an entrepreneur, is to identify issues, problems, challenges, and to come back with solutions. This is exactly what I did with smartphones. Everybody has a smartphone, but something that most people do not know is the fact that smartphones are a catastrophe for the environment. For a smartphone that usually is a few hundred grams, it's required for the production, for the manufacture, more than 70 kilograms of raw materials. 200 different materials are necessary with a quantity of 70 kilograms to produce one small smartphone with a few hundred grams. That's a big issue. Plus the CO2 that is needed to produce one smartphone is between, depending on the brands and the models, between 30 to 50 kilograms of CO2. And on top of this, for most consumers, it's very expensive to buy a smartphone, especially if you want Apple, especially if you want an iPhone. So I said, look, what about we launch a company that refurbishes phones and cell phones, but like new? So we make sure that if the phones that we collect are, have scratches on the screen, we replace the screen. If the battery is not working at 95%, we replace the battery. So I launched this business in April 2020 in Romania. It was a Romanian startup. And 14 months after, I sold this company to one of the leading companies in Europe doing this. The name of the company is e-commerce group. By the way, it was the quickest exit for a Romanian startup ever, 14 months. I'm still involved with the company today to support the business grow in Romania and other countries in the region. I'm very, very, very proud of this business because, again, it's a simple idea and it's really making a positive impact environmentally, as we said, but also socially. Lots of people would like to have the latest iPhones, but they can't. So when they buy it secondhand, but refurbished from us, it's like new at a price 50% less expensive than new. It comes with a 12-month guarantee and new accessories. So really happy to be involved with the e-commerce group and selling refurbished devices in the region, especially in Romania.
Indeed, electronic waste is a big issue all around Europe, all around the world. But now let's come back to the food waste. issue, which is maybe even bigger than the electronic waste. You recently launched with an entire team of co-founders and people involved in this project. You recently launched Bonapp project. Tell us more about this application and how does it work?
Thank you. Same here. Basic issue to identify. And when I started looking online for official reports and studies about the food waste globally, I got stuck on my chair. I said, no, this is not possible. According to WWF, 40% of the food that is produced globally is eventually thrown away. So almost half of the food that is produced goes to waste. And I said, this is absolutely crazy, especially because we live in a world where food is expensive in many countries, especially in Eastern Europe. When I look at Romania, 40% of the money spent by Romanian households go into food. I said, there is an issue here. And the problem of food waste is big here, especially in Romania and other countries in the region. So I said, you know what we are going to do? Because there is so much food expiring on the shelves in retail. There are so many restaurant owners who have to throw away food. There are also lots of hotels who are throwing away food because of the breakfast, because of the events. Even gas stations which sell food are throwing away. Bakeries. Actually, you have tens of thousands of businesses that are throwing away food in Bucharest only. So I said, you know what we are going to do? We are going to create this simple, user-friendly mobile application on which you can go and you have access to food at a discounted price between 40% to 80% less expensive. But it's just that the food is about to expire in 2 to 3 days. It's great for the retailers, supermarket, hypermarkets, bakeries, restaurants, etc. Because instead of throwing away this food, they are going to sell it. So it's additional revenue for them. It's additional traffic on their point of sales. And most importantly, we help them tackle the issue of food waste. And on the other hand, for consumers, it's great because, as I was saying earlier, food is very expensive here, even more expensive than in Germany, for example. So people cannot always afford. Some families are struggling to feed their kids. So we come with this idea. The food is still good, right? For 2 to 3 days, just going to expire in a few days at a much lower price. And of course, the planet is also we are making a positive impact on the environment. So it's what I call a win-win-win. Win for retailer, win for consumers, win for the planet. And win, of course, for us, because we have a very, very fast-growing company. We launched only 3 months ago. We already had 20,000 downloads. We raised 800,000 euros 2 months after we started, which was the biggest seed funding for a Romanian startup to happen that soon, right? To be honest, we even signed the term sheet with the investors 1 week the official launch. They had lots of trust in our project, in our team, and in the noble cause that we are serving. So I'm very, very proud of Bonapp.eco, and I'm going to share some very, very good news in the next few weeks, because we are going to diversify. We are going to expand to new categories of products, and I can't wait for this to be happening.
How about the cities you are covering now? Because I'm one of the users. I just downloaded this app, and unfortunately, I live near Bucharest. But at this moment, I saw that most of the offers and the promotions are mainly in Bucharest area.
So you're perfectly right. Thank you for this. Myself also, I live in Tunar, next to Otopen, and I don't have many options in my area. Keep in mind that we launched 3 months ago. So the time to onboard restaurants, retailers, it takes time, but we already have 100. So we already have 100 in only 3 months, which is good. But the objective is to have thousands. Actually, by the end of next year, we want to affiliate 5,000 points of sales. So 50 times more than what we have today. And we want to sell by the end of next year, 30 million boxes. So it's going to take a bit time, but we need to go as fast as possible. We are startup entrepreneurs, so we know how to scale businesses. We've done that in the past with other types of startups. So now we have recruited an army of salespeople, and this army of salespeople is going to affiliate as many partners as we can, so that people like you can find some Bonapp.eco boxes next to their places. So 100 places for the moment in Bucharest. We are about to launch in Cluj. We are going to issue a press release very soon. Actually, we have been ready for Cluj for almost 2 months with partners. The problem is the team. We really want to recruit what I call high flyers. High flyers are these 1% of the business population that I meet with. My business partner and I, we meet with. We don't want to recruit the best 10% of the business world. We want to recruit the top 1%. In order to recruit the one top person, out of 100 applications, you are going to recruit one. So it takes much longer. So the only reason why we haven't launched Cluj yet is that we didn't find the people. But I think that we're about to sign right now a labor contract with a super team with several people in Cluj, so that we can launch and scale as fast as possible. We are also looking at Iași, Timișoara, and of course other countries in the region, Budapest, Sofia. We have enough cash. As I said earlier, we raise money. We have enough cash to expand very fast. We just need to find the best talent so that we can grow in a very healthy way.
So the plan is to go regional in the countries near Romania. But you were referring to the business model that is clearly profitable. How about the Western countries? Are there any similar projects, and how do people receive it?
So this is actually a very good question, because I believe in business that is a mistake. At least I believe that is a mistake to always try to reinvent the wheel. I think in business, business commands humility, and my humility as an entrepreneur is to know, to be aware that some amazing businesses have already been launched in the USA, in Western Europe. And you know what? Sometimes you just need to take the time as an entrepreneur every day to read about those companies that are extremely successful. In the world of tech startups, the companies that are skyrocketing. This is what I do every morning. Every morning, with a cup of coffee, I spend 30 minutes sharp reading at the tech startup newsletters from Germany, France, UK, USA. And from time to time, I see an amazing idea and I said, wow, that could work in Romania and in the region. So this is exactly what happened with this business of food waste application of Bonapp.eco. We didn't invent the idea, but it's not a copycat either. We got some inspiration from a player that is skyrocketing abroad, and I'm going to say a few words about them a bit later. But we try to be better than them, to try to get inspiration from their strengths. And where we identified weaknesses, gaps, we tried to bring a strength there instead. And second of all, of course, trying to make sure that we adapt our model to the local culture, to the local business environment, which is totally different from other countries. The company from which we took the inspiration was born in Scandinavia a few years ago. This company has millions of daily users. This company is present in more than 20 countries, but this company is not present in Eastern Europe there yet. So our objective is to scale as quickly as possible so that somehow we can lock down big contracts with big partners, especially big retailers, so that we can become a number one and we can be the regional leader. By the time these competitors, the one that I mentioned, plus other others, also from France, Germany, big players are emerging, we want to be the number one in our region. We will never go to France. France is a saturated market already. Contracts have been locked down for some time now. However, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, and other countries in the region were untapped, virgin markets from that point of view. And with us, it's tapped. It's not virgin markets anymore. And this is what we are trying to achieve. So there is lots of geo-marketing in the way we always try to do business, myself and my business partner, trying to see the opportunity to launch and deploy as fast as we can.
Mm-hmm. But when it comes to authorities, do you had any synergies, or did you connect with partner with the authorities in this project? Do you need them in any regards?
The question is interesting because I'm always thinking about what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses as a business person, and I believe I'm not good enough with my network in politics. I know a few guys, but you know, we are not doing active lobbying. We are not discussing with authorities enough, and this is a mistake. And I believe that at one point, I will probably need to onboard someone in my team that is going to support the endeavors that we have for Bonapp, for e-commerce, the refurbished phones, and all the other businesses in which I've been involved. I'm involved in 21 businesses to date, right? Either as a co-founder or as an investor. And for many of those businesses, we need some local support whenever we want to expand in the country. We need some regulatory support when we see that for whatever reason, the law is clearly not adapted to the technology that we are bringing on the market. Because, you know, technology advances much faster than the law, which is normal, right? They need to adapt. But so I think that we will need to tackle this. We will need at one point to have one person in our team which will be responsible for this these kind of things. So to be honest, for the moment, we didn't talk to anyone. Actually, it's funny because a few days ago, I dropped a post on LinkedIn saying, look, guys, in France, the public authorities will be forced by law to source for their employees, the state employees, laptops and smartphones refurbished, because it's much cheaper, and most importantly, it's better for the environment. And usually, when these kind of things happen in France, it spreads all over Europe. So I posted a LinkedIn post a few days ago, looping in some ministers. I mean, I know it's not going to have any impact, but you know, this is how I felt to do it. And who knows, you know, I tried. Explaining what the law is going to change in France, saying that it will be great for the Romanian authorities to have all state employees in Romania starting having refurbished laptops, refurbished PCs, refurbished smartphones. But I did not do it in a structured way. I really need to be surrounded by people who know how this world works. I'm a very business person. I don't know how the administration, the official, the political part of things work, especially not in Romania. Even though I'm almost Romanian, I've been here for many years. This is really something that I still need to discover.
Greg, for anyone who is listening now, how does this app works? Literally, I will download this app, and then how can I use it?
Very simple. You download it, and it's going to tell you next to the place you are, if there is a supermarket, a restaurant, and you are going to see, okay, 300 meters away from where I am, this retailer across the street is proposing bags, for example, you know, with croissant, pain au chocolat, things like this. Then a restaurant next to it is going to propose you maybe rice and chicken. So it is very diverse because we are very diverse partners. We work with partners such as Starbucks, such as Penny Market. So it's very, very diverse. Cora, Ocean, etc., etc. And basically, you just go there, you show the app, the payment is made through the app, so it's cashless. Okay. You take your bag, and that's it. So it's very user friendly. It's very easy to use. My grandmother could use it without being briefed by me. I mean, it's super. We try to make the experience as simple as possible. It's important.
But in terms of the price of the products, are they cheaper than the
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, between 40 to 80% less expensive. Usually, it's the partner who decides. So, you know, for example, a partner that is going to have the food expiring the next day, which happens, usually it's 80%. When the food is going to expire in a few days, it's more like 40, 60%. Our partner decide on the price as long as it's between 40 to 80%. And basically that's it. And the level of expiry really depends. With some retailers, they sell products that are going to expire in 6 days, for example. So you still have 6 days to use the product before it expires, but still it comes at a discounted price. That's a trick.
Great, because we are here at Sustainable Living Podcast, I will have to ask you, how sustainable is your lifestyle on a scale from 1 to 10?
So I would like to say 10, but I would lie. I think that on some aspects of my life, I am at 10. So I'm going to split this. Let's put it like this. My food habits, I am at 10. I rarely eat meat. I have a plant-based food habits. So on this part, I'm almost at 10. Let's say 9. On the housing part, I live in a big passive houses. I have photovoltaic panels. I have hundreds of trees in my property. So my property is in a tunnel next to Autopen. I have literally hundreds of trees that I'm taking care of. I mean, with a team of gardeners, of course, but I like doing some walks in my property. So I'm so happy to contribute with my own trees, you know, even though it's not much, but still it's important. However, because I'm not going to lie to you, I have a big issue here is that I love cars, and for the moment, the cars that I drive tend to be polluting, right? So I'm not proud of this at all. So
it's not an electric car.
No, I don't drive electric cars, and that's, I feel guilty about this. You know, the problem of trying to be green, that you cannot never be 100% green, right? I mean, you need to take a plane, you need to use your car, yeah. But in my case, I still have those. I drive on a daily basis a sports car, so I will change eventually. I'm going to switch it to an electric car, but then some of my friends said, but electric is worse than regular car. So life is complicated, at least on some aspects of my life, including food habits, where I live. I'm trying to be a better man, to be a better citizen, to be a better person for the world in which I live. At least I'm starting somewhere. And most importantly, the businesses, of course, because as a business person, I'm initiating, launching, deploying businesses that have an impact. And of course, I'm the first user of my own services. I order through Bonapp on a regular basis. My kids, they love when we do it. We do together. In some of our partners network, we can choose the food. Some other is surprise boxes. It depends. We like to discover boxes from Starbucks. We buy surprise boxes from Starbucks. We like it very much. And of course, I'm using, and this is the conversation we are having right now, is through a refurbished fund that goes without saying.
Greg, thank you so much for your presence at Sustainable Living Podcast. I'm sure that our discussion will inspire everyone who is listening to you, and I hope to see you again soon.
Mulțumesc foarte mult, mulțumesc din suflet. Data viitoare vom vorbi limba română. A fost mai ușor pentru mine în limba engleză, să fie sincer, dar da, vorbesc și limba română și data viitoare putem vorbi limba română. Mi-a părut foarte bine acest interviu și ne auzim foarte curând. Mulțumesc foarte mult pentru invitație.